Shmuel Cramer.
So, first of all, thank you very much, Shmuel, for organizing the learning every night of the Abchira. It's a great serene, it's everyone wants it, and you have a big space. Okay, so the topic is the Hilchos Beis Abchira. So the Rambam in the Sefer HaMitzvahs, he writes as follows, and I'm going to quote what he writes. Shetzivonu livna is Beis Abchira. The Eibishter commanded us to make a Beis Abchira, a Beis HaMikdash, la'avodo, to serve the Eibishter. Bo yiyeh ha'krove, over there they'll bring karbonis. V'havora so Eish Tomid, and over there the Eish Tomid will burn. V'hu omre yizborech, and this is what the Eibishter said, blessed be he, v'osel di mikdash, we should make a Beis HaMikdash. That's the mitzvah. And the Nochaz HaMamshich, he writes, Shezah HaKlal, this general Beis HaBchira, koil minim rabim, includes in it many different items, Shehim HaMnoire, V'Hashulchan, V'Mizbeach, V'Zulosam, and other things, Kulam Mechelki HaMikdash, everything is a part of the Mikdash, V'Hakel Yikra Mikdash, and everything together, when you have the structure with the kelim, is called a mikdash, a Beis HaMikdash. Then the Rambam adds, Ukfar Yichud HaTzivui, the Eibishter singled out the commandment, the whole chelik v'chelik of every part, every item in the Beis HaMikdash.
Shut it off.
Okay. So the Rebbe asks, why does the Rambam add those few words at the end that the Eibishter commanded us for every part of the Beis HaMikdash, as if giving the impression that not only is it a mitzvah to make a Beis HaMikdash, but also every single item in the Beis HaMikdash is a mitzvah for itself. And also, in general, what is added by that what the Rambam says, and what's an nafkamineh? So the Rebbe says that the status of the kelim in the Beis HaMikdash, you can look at it in three different ways. One way you can look at the kelim is that when you make the kelim, when the people are constructing the menorah or the mizbeach, so the keli itself doesn't have any holiness, it's nothing special. However, once you have all the kelim and you put it in the Beis HaMikdash and you have the structure, then you have a Beis HaMikdash with the kelim. You have a holy structure with holy kelim in it. But when you're making the keli itself, it's nothing. And the Rebbe gives a moshel, for example, according to Reish Lakish, chatzi shir is muter min haTorah. So you can have a chatzi shir, it's muter min haTorah, no problem. You have another chatzi shir, it's muter. But when you put the two things together, all of a sudden you have a new entity. You have over here something that's osur. Or like another example in a positive way. You have tzitzis, you have one chut, one string. One string itself is nothing. But when you have four strings together and you put it into the tzitzis, into the corner, and you make a tzitzis, then all of a sudden you have something. But one string itself is absolutely nothing. So the same thing it is over here with the kelim. The kelim in itself, when you're making it, is nothing. However, once you have all the kelim and you put it in the Beis HaMikdash, then you have something special. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is that every keli is special. However, in other words, when you're making the menorah is a special thing, making the menorah. However, when you put all the kelim together in the Beis HaMikdash, then you have already a new kedusha, a new gather, a new metzias, something new that you didn't have before. In other words, the menorah and the mizbeach and the horn and everything had a status before as well. However, when you put it together in the Beis HaMikdash, it gets into a new elevated status. And our mashal for this is, let's say you have a yid is holy. However, when you have 10 yidden together, then you have a minyan, you have the Rosh Hashanah, even though one person himself is also holy. Like the Rebbe mentioned in the Sikha, Asara sheyoshvim v'hiskim b'Torah, one yid learning Torah is zeicha grace azach. However, saying a demo, when you have 10 people together, all of a sudden you have a new metzias, a new kedusha, and the same thing is with the kelim. Every keli is taka has a chshivas. However, when you have all the kelim together in the Beis HaMikdash, then you have a new holy entity. That's another way of looking at the status of the kelim. Then there's a third way, is that it's not a metzias chshuva when you're making the kelim of the kelim of the Beis HaMikdash. However, once you have the Beis HaMikdash and you put the kelim in the Beis HaMikdash, then even the kelim in itself becomes special. And like a nafkamina would be, for example, let's say in the Mishkan, when they used to go from place to place, used to take it apart. So even though they took it apart, once you had a structure of a Mishkan, and the same thing once you had a structure of a Beis HaMikdash with all the kelim, then even though the Mishkan was taken apart, or like today the Beis HaMikdash became Chorev, nevertheless each keli got its a special status once it was in the Beis HaMikdash with the full kelim and the full structure, and that's never taken away. Even after they took apart the Mishkan, it still kept the menorah had a special holiness, and the mizbeach had a special holiness, even after they took it apart or after the Churban Beis HaMikdash. What's a nafkamina for all these statuses? So the nafkamina could be, says the Rebbe, it says va'osu li migdosh. We have to make a Beis HaMikdash, and li it has to be lishmi. You have to make it lishma. So when they're making the kelim for the Beis HaMikdash, you have to know what you're having in mind over here. Do you have to have in mind that you're making the keli l'shem, you're making a menorah l'shem a menorah, or should you have in mind you're making the menorah l'shem the Beis HaMikdash? You have to know what you have in mind, because it has to be l'shmi, it has to be l'shma. So with this we can understand what the Rambam adds. After he adds this to what he said that you have to base the Beis HaMikdash, because the Rambam holds that when b'shas you're building the kelim and b'shas you're building the Beis HaMikdash, you have to have both things in mind. There has to be l'shma sai for the keli, that you're making it l'shem menorah, and also you're making it l'shem the Beis HaMikdash, l'shem the general structure of the Beis HaMikdash. Another nafkamina could be, says the Rebbe, it says ubiyoyim hokim es mishkan, that the binyan Beis HaMikdash could only take place by day, not at night. And the Rambam paskins halacha l'maisa like this as well, that the Beis HaMikdash could only be built only by day. So if you go according to the first sheet or the third sheet, that really the kelim itself doesn't have such a special chshivas, only when you put it together in the Beis HaMikdash, that means you could build a menorah at night as well. The only thing what you can't do, you can't bring all the kelim into the Beis HaMikdash at night, because then it comes out that you're finalizing the binyan Beis HaMikdash at night. But making the keli itself, which is doesn't have any special chshivas, according if you look at it in that vein, then you could build a menorah even at night. So it comes out over here from the Rambam that since you have to do both things, you have to have the shema side for the keli and side for the general Beis HaMikdash. So therefore it would come out that you wouldn't be able to build even the menorah itself. You wouldn't be able to construct it at night, because that also, since it's also part of the Beis HaMikdash, so therefore you can only do it by day. So hopefully we should be zeicher to see the Beis HaMikdash Ashlishi, which is going to come down Mumailah tonight before Ma'ariv.
Amen.